Tabernacle Talks, another episode. We got a good one here today.
Hopefully.
We got it, and now we know it because we don't ask anybody on here who's not going to be good, right?
Go,
so, Rich Cassell, okay? My Philly Cassell. We've seen a lot of it on Facebook, Instagram. He's all over social media. That's the reason why he's here. I try to bring on realtors that are active on the front line, right? Doing it every day, which you are.
Too many days.
Too many days, right? 7 days a week, I'm sure.
Yes.
Full-time realtor.
Yeah. I tell people it's a lifestyle. It's not a career.
There you go. Right. So tell us how you got into business, I guess, and then you take it from there. Yeah.
Completely accidental. I mean, I moved to Philadelphia for art school, of all things. I was doing a technical theater, so I designed and built sets.
Cool.
Didn't like it because I'd have to join a union at some point, and I wasn't feeling the vibe of the general population of the people that were in that industry. So I pivoted to furniture making and design.
Okay.
Right at the University of the Arts.
All right.
Now defunct.
So totally.
Yeah.
Not even.
Complete left field.
Right. Not even in the same.
Humble beginnings, totally broke. The typical broke art student doesn't know what he's doing himself, but I had a good skill set for renovations. So I had a really good friendship with my landlord, and I pitched him the idea, hey, can I get some summer cash? I can help you in the hot months to renovate your properties, get some tenants in there. He's like, you know what? Give me a pitch. Give him a pitch. Turn me down flat. I was like, why did you even want me to come here?
Right.
He said, I just want to figure out who you were as a person because I'm always looking for good agents to lease my properties. I didn't really know what that meant, but tossed me a set of keys, said, go show this place.
Boom.
Rented a place my first day. I was hooked. I mean,
Done.
$400, which to me at that time was a lot
big.
of money. Yeah. I could pay the rent.
Well, you're a young guy. So right.
So after that, I just kind of crescendoed, and I've been very fortunate in my career to have met some solid mentors that to put me in the right direction and say, hey, here's how you self-teach yourself. Here's some things that you should be looking at. And
so you've been in the business 10 years or?
I got into property management in 2009.
2009.
Yeah.
So right after the 2008 bomb of the industry.
The recovery.
The recovery is when you got in.
Mm-hmm.
So you really never felt that. When was the toughest time that you felt? Like 2012?
Every single year.
Yeah.
There's
well, I try to not feel that pain every single year. I try to say there's better years than other years, but you're right. It's every year.
Yeah.
So,
if you're not actively trying to plateau, it's tough every year.
Right. You're building your business still.
Always.
Right? So we see that. You seem to be really on the go with buyers, listings. You're doing a lot of video too.
Yeah.
What's your feeling on continuing that? And is that the future or are you a little awkward still or what's the story?
I've never been awkward. No.
Okay, good.
Good.
You don't look awkward. So that's great. That's what
I found the importance of social media, right?
Yes.
I was always the mindset of, focus on the business. It's not so much important to be in front of a camera online because if your reputation precedes you, if your value that you bring to your clients is there, it just travels word of mouth, which is what has happened for me. But when I decided to start a team, I realized my two biggest pain points were having a physical office and social media presence, right? People could tell the business I was doing, but they didn't know who I was as a person to work with. So one of the title reps I've worked with for a number of years, shout out Rachel Rao, she,
we know Rachel,
virtually harassed me to hire a social media person because I wasn't doing it. And I'm kicking myself now because I wish I did it years ago.
Yeah. Let's get into what's going on right now. So we know your background. We know you're good in social media, but we don't know how you are in business, right? So it's a different world, right? I mean, what we see on social media, guys, is not 100% the person of what we see every
typically
day.
1,000% not that person.
Right? It's not the same guy. Like, what I do here, if you catch me on a Tuesday afternoon at 3:00 with a loan blowing up and someone screaming in my face, we better close or you're fired. I'm a different guy, right? I'm not
100%.
the guy that you see today. So it's different world, right? So give us the real Rich. What happens day to day? Are you blowing up on people? Is it high stress? Is it tell us what you're feeling in the current market and how you get through it?
Yeah, it's a great question. I heard this good quote from Jeff Bezos. He said, stress is not when you're overworked. It's not doing the things that you know you should be able to do within the time you have. So time management's a huge one.
Huge, no doubt.
I try to stay even tempered with people because the biggest path to success is being able to not take anything personally.
Okay.
Everybody has their own agendas. Everybody has their own feelings about what they want to interpret a current situation. But if you kind of go with the flow,
Right.
they will cool off. Because with the exception of being homeless, there's no real emergency in real estate.
Right.
So if you feed
We
into
all
their
feel
anger,
like it's the end of the world, no doubt. Right.
in the moment,
In the moment.
you give it an hour or two.
Right, then you cool off.
Exactly.
Right.
And
And then you
go
say to
back.
yourself, they're not going to die. They're just not going to get their house today.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I can throw you $250 to put your stuff in storage. It's like it's going to be okay.
It is that easy.
It
He's not
is.
lying. I
Yeah.
mean, we give credits all the time. We'll give a lender credit to cover this. You know, the guy has to stay in a hotel for a weekend or whatever it may be. We'll give a lender credit for that. Like, it's not the end of the world.
I had
It's inconvenient, but it's not the end of the world.
with my entire career, I've had one actual emergency. It was a very bizarre situation. A friend of mine, I was selling his house to him, and the seller was actually at risk for a sheriff's sale.
Okay.
And they were going to literally sell the property that afternoon if he didn't close.
Right.
As
I've seen that.
Yeah. And a mortgage
That's
guy,
high stress.
it was high stress because he needed a house. They
Right.
really
You got to
needed
close.
to sell that house.
If you don't close, you're out of a house. You're
Exactly.
homeless.
Yeah.
What
And
happened?
he was going to be because he
Did
had
they
already
close?
It closed, but by the courtesy of the title company, because you need to bring a check to closing or a wire.
Sure.
Well, he didn't have a physical location for his bank. His physical location was in Ohio.
Of course.
So 30 minutes before.
This is what happens
The
every day. Right?
closing.
The bank is never here. It's in another state.
Yeah.
Right. And these people think that's normal. You're closing on a house. You
Mhm.
got to have a bank that's around here so you can get the money.
He didn't let us know that until last second.
Of course.
But I get a call
Right.
from him.
And we
30
see it every
minutes,
day. Right.
And he's like, hey, Rich, I'm going to go get this check. I'm going to go drive to Ohio. I was like, my man, that's like 6-8 hours. You're not driving to Ohio.
Yeah,
You're
because
going
we're
to
not
come.
closing today then
Oh
because you
my
got to
God.
drive 6 or 8 hours back.
Yeah. He didn't understand that concept.
Oh boy.
So I convinced the title company to take a personal check for like 60 grand. It was,
Who was that title company? Wow.
it cleared.
I don't,
you know?
I mean, that must be somebody you really know
Yeah.
because it's
it was
not
a Hail
normal
Mary.
thing. Nobody takes a $60,000 personal check. I mean, it's
Maybe that's
That's
like a
unheard of.
$1,000 check, but
right.
yeah,
Right.
it's big nuts as well. But it closed. That was the only real emergency I think I've ever experienced.
That's good experience for you.
Yeah.
Right.
And everybody's freaking out. I'm like, guys, it's cool.
oh, everybody's freaking out.
I've
No
told him to
doubt.
come. He's going to come with the money. Title
Right.
says yes. It's okay.
Right.
So,
Wow. You know, I just had a closing last week where the buyer came. I wasn't at the closing. It was in King of Prussia.
Mm.
And we told the buyer that they needed $200,000 to close or whatever it was. They were putting down that much money. And they came to closing. I got a phone call from closing telling me that they only brought 150. Okay. So I said, well, we told them to bring 200. Why did they bring 150? They're going to bring the rest at the end of the week. They didn't have
sure.
all of it today to bring. So they're going to bring the other 50 at the end of the week. Is that okay with you guys? Okay.
Buying a house on Craigslist.
That's what I mean. I'm like, listen, no, we told them to bring 200. If they
Yeah.
don't have 200 there today, you're not closing. I don't get what they were thinking.
The disconnect.
There's a disconnect.
Yeah.
Right. So that brings up that story. All right. So, how has the market evolved in Philly? You're a Philly guy.
Yeah.
You work for KW and Power, right?
Now, yeah.
Now.
Mhm.
So how long you been there?
Since like 2018.
So 18. So
Mhm.
you've been there about 7 years
Mhm.
or going on 7 years.
Yeah. I started at Coldwell Banker with Bruce Lang, and then a few years later pivoted
Moved
to
to-
Keller.
And why Keller?
It's funny because like a lot of the big guys in the business, we all started at the same time. Giganti, Roach, Jeremy Bowers, a bunch
Yeah.
of other people.
We had Roach on
Steve
there.
Stafford.
Yeah.
We all are with the same office.
Yeah.
And
Good team.
great guys.
Yeah.
They all came over to KW, and Jeremy, I was like almost like the last one to get recruited. And it was like, come on, this is home. You know, this is where you should be. So
Yeah.
he was great. He kept in touch with me for years. And then I made a jump.
And then you did it.
Yeah.
I mean, KW is the powerhouse of the city, right? I mean, we know that. They, from the main line, McCann Steam all the way down to South Philly and then over to Roach on Delaware Ave. I mean, you guys got it locked down. No doubt. I think you're the biggest.
One of, yeah.
Or one of,
Mhm.
right? Who would be the competition that you guys run
It's hard
into?
to tell because I feel like every brokerage finds a great way to like skew the numbers to be like, we're number one in this or we're top on that. So I really don't know.
Right.
But I know it's a good group of people.
Right. It's business as usual anyway. I mean, it doesn't matter who is number one. We go into business every day saying we got to close for ourselves.
Yeah.
We're doing this to build our own business anyway. You're just using KW's name as a backdrop, but really it's
always
the
the individual
Cassell team.
agents. Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's your team. It's what you're building your brand,
Yeah.
right? So you could go anywhere. with that name.
Okay.
If you left KW, you'd still go with My Philly Castle because that's your tag, that's your team.
Yeah, 100%.
How many people do you have in your team?
4 right now, about to have a 5th. My wife is de-scoping from her corporate job, and she's actually going to get licensed. And
Your wife?
My wife, yeah.
Ooh,
I'm excited.
This is interesting.
I'm excited.
All right, this is juicy. So
Yeah.
how'd you talk her into that? Is it she stole the money, I guess, and said,
So 3 years ago, we started this conversation.
She said, Rich, these paychecks are pretty big. I think I can get into some of this action.
Well, by nature, she's operational. So, everybody is great in some things and deficient in others. So she is terrific in operation. And as I grow my team, I need someone like her on my side to be able to pick up the slack where I am. So
she's leaving her corporate job to do real estate full time?
Starting part-time. So she was going to leave, and then they kind of convinced her that she works at I'm blanking.
It's all right.
I hope she doesn't watch this.
He still loves you.
Yeah.
It's fine.
PE firm, private equity firm.
That's fine. Yeah.
And they're like, no, we can't have you leave. We'll just de-scope you.
Some of the most successful teams, guys, that I've seen are husband and wife, or father and son, or whole family.
There's a trust there.
There's a trust. You can trust them, right?
Yeah.
You're both in it to win it because you live in the same house. You have the same bills to pay. And it goes in as a stronger situation when you're a team, because you're and a family team, because people then trust that too when they see that. They're like, right?
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
And we have a kid. So we're
and you get a kid
to the families, spouses,
and then you wind up getting your kid into it, and then it'll turn into a whole situation.
Should be our little spokesperson too. So she's got a little bit way to go.
So we're going to move on, because I think that he obviously is experienced, with being through the markets. Do you think we're in the hardest market you've ever seen, as long as you've been in it?
That's a loaded question.
Right.
COVID was weird because our hands were super tied. I mean, I was doing open houses via Facebook Live, and I sold a house that way, and I was proud of that.
Right.
But then I had other agents complain to our broker by saying, "Oh, this guy's breaking the rules.
Yeah,
can't do that."
Right.
So that was a very bizarre market. I think we're headed towards a very difficult market.
You don't think we're coming out of a difficult market?
I think we're in a functional recession.
Right.
But the Fed has to address the issues that we have the economy by lowering the rates, which they have been. And we're in an election year, so historically things will get better.
They should go down.
Yeah.
Right. Unfortunately, if anybody's been watching over the last few weeks, the Fed did cut the rate in the beginning of September, and we all had a party, right? We all thought that the world was going to explode and we're going to get 1,000 refinances and everybody's going to blow up, right? Mm-hmm. The problem here is there was a jobs report that came out last week, which I'm sure you followed, and the rates have spiked up pretty dramatically over the last week or two.
Yeah.
I mean, we went from rates of 5s back almost into 7% again now.
Strange.
It's very strange. Yeah. And we're only 2 weeks away from the election, if not less.
Yeah.
We had expected the rates to go way down. Mm-hmm. We thought the rates were going to be in the low 5s right now at the time of the election, because everything should look rosy.
Headed to the upper 4s in Q1.
Right. We thought we were going to explode. Mm-hmm. Now we're sitting in a situation where rates are 6.5% and 7%. And we're wondering why.
And people are pulling back.
What do you see? I mean, I'm sure you have clients that are questioning what's going on, and they're probably stepping back and saying, maybe we wait. It's been a weird lull over the last few weeks. I think people were waiting for the election to come, and then maybe after the election, they jump off the fence. Yeah,
it's always situational, because if somebody absolutely has to get into a house, it still makes sense for them to do that, because rates are cyclical, right?
Yeah.
They will come up and they'll come down. So I'm sure they will come down, and at that point, they can refi. So it's not a lose-lose.
Right. When are they going to refi? Don't ever tell anybody when they're going to refi.
I say 2-3 years.
Right. Exactly.
Best case scenario.
Because the problem is I'm getting burned doing that.
Sure.
Right. In the beginning of the year, what was it? Date the rate, married a house, all this crazy
survive
stuff.
Till 25.
Survive till 25. Don't worry. Rates are going to come down. You're always going to be able to refinance. Yada, yada,
It's true.
Yada.
I mean, that one statement's true.
When's the rates going to come down, Alex? At the end of the year. And you're going to love it. And you're going to, right. And here I am, sitting in November almost, and I'm still quoting rates that I were quoting at the beginning of the year. So it still hasn't happened. So anybody asking me now, they're asking me, when do you think I'm going to be able to refi? I don't even touch that question because it's such a loaded question.
Good advice.
We don't know.
Yeah.
I can't time the market anymore. I tried to time it the whole year to say
You
that
wouldn't be a mortgage lender if you could time the market.
I would be on an island, right? I say that every week.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here. Like me and George, I would actually pay for George to be on an island too. I mean,
I can see
we
George
both would
sipping a
be.
Mai
Like,
Tai on the
he would be
beach.
with a Mai Tai with me. We'd be laughing. You know, and I would tell everybody, listen, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Right? So do you think that there's a lot of scared people that you're running into that are saying, you know, or are you telling them hang out till 25?
I'm still seeing bidding wars. You know, 3 things basically get a house sold: price, condition, location. And if you are on point with the price, people are bidding. So
Okay. Bidding wars in Philly or outside of Philly?
no, in Philly.
Really?
Obviously, that's always prevalent in the suburbs, but
Right.
I'm definitely seeing in the burbs.
In
in
the
Philadelphia.
Are you doing more in the city versus the burbs right now? Or are you doing
Currently,
more?
yes.
Really?
But I'm recruiting
You're
now.
probably the only guy that says that right now.
Wow.
Because I got a lot of realtors that I bring on every week that are telling me that it's dead in the city. Like I can't get it. My listings are sitting in the city. I can't get rid of anything in the city, but then they're going out to the burbs and they're doing deals left and right.
You know, creativity, perseverance, and grit. If you leverage those 3 things, you can survive and thrive in a tough market. You know,
Okay.
because if, for example, I would like to work with developers and investors. Very common, or it's by law for new construction, you have to have a builder warranty. That's not the case for rehab.
Sure.
So if we're like at the last mile to get a deal done, I'll encourage the builder to get creative if it's a rehab, for example, and throw in a warranty or other elements that kind of push over that buyer to the edge.
Are they building still a lot right now versus what they were building a few years ago? What do you?
They're trying to. I mean, L&I is pretty
They're terrible.
Yeah, I'm not going to say.
Well, I know that. And I'm allowed to say that.
You can
it's
say
my
that.
show.
Yeah.
Right? They're beating the crap out of people, right? And making it really hard.
I know. They definitely tie the hands of contractors and
Right.
investors. It's very anti development city for some reason.
Yeah. Which, you know, you want to build and grow.
You want higher taxes?
Right.
You know?
You want to hire.
I don't know.
Let's talk of taxes real quick. People in Philly are getting crushed with taxes,
Oh my God.
right?
I think there's a little bit more people leaving than actually coming. Like Philadelphia's experiencing attrition for sure.
They're leaving.
I think so, yeah.
And where are they going?
Florida.
Oh, Florida.
Yeah. Red state.
Well, I would like to go to Florida too.
Yeah.
But red states is we're not allowed to say that on here.
Same.
We can't get political.
Okay.
We're not allowed. We get crazy. Then I get some comments that they want to wait for me outside and they're going to attack
They'll
me. and all this stuff.
demonetize
Yeah,
you
yeah, it gets bad.
Well, I will say
not gonna
Philadelphia-
Go, you know,
Philadelphia is great for rentals, but it's becoming a little bit more tough because it's becoming more tenant friendly. And,
Yeah.
you know, in my honest opinion, I think any market should always be half fair for tenant, half fair for landlord. But there are rules that certainly don't favor a landlord and it puts them in a tough spot. You know, for squatting, for example.
Sure.
That's a major issue.
and you're licensed in Jersey too.
Correct. Yeah.
I do a lot of business in Jersey.
Okay.
Probably 60% of my business right now is Jersey.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Okay.
And 40% is Philly and the suburbs.
Mhm.
A lot of people leaving the city to go to Jersey.
Yeah.
Right?
South
Even though-
Jersey.
South Jersey. Right. Taxes are high though there too.
Yeah. Better schools. I mean,
Better.
proportionate, you're getting some value for that.
Do you have agents that you specifically are working Jersey, or are you doing it yourself and going over the bridge and saying, I'll travel over there? I don't care. I'll do a deal wherever.
Both. I mean, I've started to recruit people that either exclusively work Jersey or dual license there.
Okay.
But I'm not afraid of a Jersey deal.
Are you afraid to go over the bridge?
No, I grew up in Cherry Hill, so
Oh, so there
Back
we go.
home.
We got a Jersey guy.
yeah,
Oh, so this is a different world for you. Well, not really, because Cherry Hill's right over the bridge. But
yeah.
and we were touching on this a few weeks ago with another agent that we had on, who was saying that there are agents that don't like to drive right over the bridge. Like they either like to do just South Philly or just Center City, but they're licensed in Jersey, but they're not into driving over the bridge and doing a deal in Jersey, even though that they're licensed in Jersey.
I don't think it's the physical act of driving. I think it's the nature of the deal is so different in comparison to Philadelphia that
The agents are different.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're different, and they know if you don't do deals in Jersey and you're not doing things properly, they
Right.
call you out for it. So you don't want to look like a fool to your clients. So if you're not focusing on that type of
You got to know what you're saying.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to name names of who I had on here before, but I had a specific agent who said that the Jersey agents are just terrible to work with.
I'm sure they say the same
right.
thing
And
about
then
us.
the Jersey agents are probably saying
Yeah.
they hate Philly agents, right? But she was
They're like,
pretty.
what? You don't have a super key? You know,
Yeah, she's like, they don't call you back, and they're cocky with you. And once they find out that you're a Philly agent, they don't want to deal with you.
Yeah.
They think you don't know what you're doing. I mean, is that,
I see it and I feel it, and I think that's so wrong because we're in this business end of the day to serve the client, and that kind of attitude doesn't serve the client.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
I agree. I think you got to get along with everybody, right?
At least on the surface.
Right. So there was a realtor that was on social media. I shared her post yesterday. She was not rambling. I'm not going to say that. She was, it's probably the wrong word. I didn't mean that.
Passionate.
She was passionate about a situation that ran into with a lender that has been delaying her closing again and again and again. She's saying that she's seen a lot of this. Lenders that are delaying closings.
It was a Rocket Mortgage.
Yeah, right. I didn't say that.
Yeah.
All right. I like you guys at Rocket Mortgage, even though you're whatever.
I've met one out of maybe 15 agents
that are actually good there.
Yeah.
Right. So she didn't name the mortgage company, but she had said that it wasn't just that mortgage company. That seems like there's a lot of pain going on with lenders right now that are either just delaying things, not communicating.
They're tightening up on, I think, requirements and paperwork. And if a buyer is slow or sloppy to get them stuff, that definitely can have an impact. Like we had a settlement delay because he was living at his family's house and paying rent, but they wanted a letter from the family saying that he's paid that money.
Sure.
But the underwriter hit that with us like at the last 11th hour.
Of course.
And it
I know
the
about
closing. So
right. So it wasn't really the lenders.
it's not the lender.
fault.
It's like
It's the
everything's
underwriter.
trickled down, right? It's the attorneys and it's the underwriters
Sure.
behind the.
Oh, it's a
funding.
domino effect.
Yeah.
All the way down. Are you picking your lender, or are you letting these people bring their lender?
I try to. I mean, we do our best to say, hey, this is somebody. Here's 2 or 3 people that we worked with that we know will 100% get this closed because they work on Sundays.
Sure.
They communicate and they don't.
What's
make a
that? They
process.
work on Sundays? Hey, listen. What do I preach every week? You got to work on the weekend. You got to work Saturday and Sunday. No, I don't mean 9 to 3, right? I mean 8 to 8. Unfortunately,
this industry
that's just
demands
what it is.
Unconventional hours.
Correct.
Like
I might at 6 o'clock on a Saturday say, oh, you know what? Let's go out to dinner.
Yeah.
Right. Let's go here, or let's have somebody over. And then the phone rings.
Texting
right?
under the table.
Hey, here we go. Right. I'm texting and the guy needs an approval. They're making an offer now, Alex.
Yeah.
We need it now. And that is the make or break of either you're going to be successful or 100%. You're not. And I hate to say that because everybody calls me out and says, oh, Mr. 24/7. But really, in order to be successful, you have to be almost like that 24/7.
Yeah, most of the time.
Feeling to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not easy.
It's not.
Like you bring up these young people, right, that are newer agents. You preach to them that they got to work 24/7, or what are you telling them?
I'm young.
Oh, I know.
No, it's
well, you are young, but they're probably younger than you, right? So who knows?
They're so jaded. I mean, nobody wants to work anymore, and it drives me nuts.
What's that? Nobody wants to work anymore.
It's so weird.
Nobody wants to work anymore.
Probably 3 times in the past 2 weeks, I've had people call me and I pick up. They're like, "Oh, you're actually picking up?" I was anticipating to leave like a voicemail, and I was like, "No, I mean, I'm going to answer."
They actually get scared that you pick up the phone nowadays. They don't want to talk to anybody on the phone.
I had somebody hang up and went, so like, "Oh, I'd rather leave a voicemail." I'm like, "What?"
That's crazy.
It's weird.
That's true.
Yeah, I still did a deal with him, but
that's actually disturbing. But it's like the way of the world right now,
it's
right?
The culture. Everybody wants to not.
Listen, I'll be doing a deal now. Listen, if you're buying a $500,000 house, right, and we're closing in a week from now, and we need something pertinent from you, okay, I text you and say, hey, such and such, I need to get on the phone with you today.
Mm-hmm.
We got a problem here. I need this documentation. Can you get it to me? We need to get on the phone. No. I'd rather text you. Would texting be okay? I'm too busy to get on the phone. All day, every day. It's just text me.
It's only $20,000 deposit that you may be.
Right. You're going to lose your $20,000 deposit. You're going to, you're going to maybe get sued, right? Because you're not performing what you signed the contract to do. I mean, you see this stuff.
Again, people's agendas and their own interests always come first, and it's just how you deal with it.
How good do you coach these people up front to let them know that guys like me are going to beat the crap out of them during the process of mortgages
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's good with the realtor who says it up front and tells the people, listen, this is what you're in for.
Yeah. Everybody thinks it's like they're watching a TV show and it's boom, 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 done. But, within that 30, 45
They
day
watch
period.
$1 million listing or
Yeah.
your sunset, whatever it is. And then they think it's just a boom, you close. They don't know that we're asking for 10,000 things in process, which is what it is.
Especially if you look funny on paper, you're going to dig deeper.
They're going to dig deeper.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a number of people call me this week that said that they have all cash. They don't put money in the bank.
Okay, great. Come to me in 2 months.
How much do you want to put down? 200,000. So you have 200,000 cash in your house.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do here? Right. So I said, you have to put the money in the bank.
Yeah.
I do. Well, I have it. I said, you have it, but that's $200,000 cash that we can't verify.
I'll send you a picture.
Yeah, you got to put the money in the bank, guys. Put the money in the bank.
Yeah, at least
all right?
2 months.
At least 2 months. And listen, sometimes I can get away with 30 days. Sometimes I can get away with you only having the money in the bank for 1 month.
Yeah.
Okay. But get it in there. But when do you think I should put it in? Today.
Yesterday.
Because right. I mean, if you're going to buy something now, it's got to go in today. So it's got to sit there. And you can't close next week now. We got to wait till the money sits there.
I don't care if title's back. You got to.
We can't close.
My favorite's gift money. So for years now, anytime I see gift money,
right.
I don't make, but the way that I negotiate for the seller is the deposit you're putting down is the gift money.
Sure.
I want the gifter to have skin in the game.
Yeah.
Because I had a deal blow up once that changed my mind about gift money, where the boyfriend was giving the money. They broke up the day before closing, and they didn't buy the house. She didn't buy the house.
He already didn't give her the gift, or he was supposed to give her the gift and he wasn't going to give her the gift anymore.
The gift was supposed to be given at closing as part of her.
Oh, I see.
It was going to be her
gift
funds.
check. Right, right.
And he wrote the letter, everything, but he's like, nah, I'm done with this girl. And he broke up.
See, that's a problem.
That's a problem.
And I understand what you're saying. Maybe if you would have given that money in the beginning and deposited
locked
into her
in,
account, the money was already in her account.
Yeah. The whole deal can't hinge on.
Yeah, that's hairy because the problem is that you have no backtrack. The guy's not going to give the gift at closing, you're screwed.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. So how do you stay motivated in a down market? You look like you work out, right? So you look like you're in good shape, right? What do you do? You wake up in the morning and you start flying and run and go to the gym, or you're the kind of guy who attacks work first and then goes after work?
Nah, I have to do workouts in the morning. Otherwise, it's like you're so demotivated by the evening and
you're burned out.
You've eaten, but you're burned out.
Right. So you're up early, or what's the story? How do you stay motivated?
My wife, she definitely motivates me. She works out a lot too, and she'll get up. I'm like, okay, I'm getting up too. Probably around like
work
6.
out together.
We used to, but we have a kid now, so our schedule is like a little different.
Okay.
I'll either do circuit training, weights, combat training, or conditioning, and I'll just kind of mix that up throughout the week.
Okay.
But you have to, like, in this day and age. I mean, I don't know. You said I was okay to curse, but
you're allowed to say whatever you want. All right. This is an open forum. All right.
I mean, big pharma and food companies have lied to the public for decades and knowingly poisoned people. So it's like our responsibility to be the CEOs of our own health.
Sure.
So fitness isn't enough. You don't have to include your diet. And, a lot of people are just undernutritioned and undermineralized and dehydrated. So like just being able to track your own cycle and your own life source basically is critical for,
you can't outrun a bad diet, right?
No, and you can't poison yourself into being healthy.
Right. I mean, I know guys, I go running. I run a bit 3 to 4 days a week in the morning, and then I'll go to the gym the rest of the time. And I know a lot of guys who run lots of miles because they eat really bad or they drink all night. Right.
Like
so that to me, you don't win. Right. I mean, you can't outrun it. You still look bad.
You need your liver.
You need your liver, number one. You're not hydrating, like you said. So they're not drinking any water during the day, which is a killer.
Well, they're drinking alcohol. They're
drinking alcohol then at night, staying out till 11, 12 o'clock at night or whatever they're doing. And then they're running with me at 6 o'clock in the morning and they think that's how they're going to beat it. You're not.
No.
That'll catch up with you. You might be able to do that when you're 25 maybe or 21 or whatever.
It's a mid-30s. So
once you hit 30s, it's not going to work anymation.
A lot of people who have wrinkly skin, it's actually it's not premature wrinkling. It's actually dehydration because your body doesn't hold hydration the same way around 40. So
Yeah, I drink a ton of water I go to the bathroom 16 times during the day. Ask the people that I work with, they're annoyed. Like
that means that you might be undermineralized. You need
every
sodium.
15 minutes, I'm going to the bathroom because I'm just drinking so much water. So what does that mean?
You're undermineralized. So we drink water.
Yeah.
It doesn't absorb into our body. How we get hydrated is it absorbs into our muscle tissue, and our muscle tissue holds H2O.
So you shouldn't be going to the bathroom that much then.
No, because you're just expelling.
It's just coming out.
There's no benefit. You know?
Huh.
So you take your.
I am. Listen, I'm taking that to heart because I'm telling you, I must drink at least 17 bottles of Poland Spring a day. No lie.
That's
One after another after another. Right. But it comes out of me every 15, 20 minutes. Boom, 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 boom. Go on.
Got to get your sodium up. But good sodium, not table salt. That stuff's poison.
Right. No French fries or stuff like that.
No, please. Nothing.
That's sodium there
no
too.
No canola oil, no vegetable oil.
Do you drink alcohol?
No.
All right. So if a seller comes to you, how do we sell a house quickly right now? What tips are you giving them to, they're coming to me as a mortgage guy and I don't know how to answer that because I don't sell houses.
Sure.
I'm the guy that gives the money and you're the guy that sells the house. Right.
Yeah.
So if they're coming to you first, obviously, and saying they want to buy something, but I got to sell my house first.
Mm-hmm.
Right. A lot of them are stuck in that. Like they can't buy until they sell because they can't carry the current home that they're in.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
And no one takes a contingent offer.
Knowledge is power. So the more questions you can ask the seller up front to learn what their motivation is, then I can better customize a plan for them.
Right.
So without a doubt, if somebody who has hired me is in that situation, I'm telling them, number one, you got to list your house first. We have to have a signed listing contract and put that house in the market before you even step foot in another house to buy it. Because when you start putting those offers out, the seller wants to know that you're actually serious about selling a property.
You're doing it the right way.
Yeah.
And then what tips do you think that you're giving right now for these people to sell these houses quickly?
Mm-hmm.
Like how do I get rid of it quick?
Your price, right? Price is number one because yes, you can have aspirational pricing, put it out there for a high dollar amount and see if the market will respond, or initiate a bidding war so that you can lock in a deal that much quicker and be on to your next house. Clean windows, lights that work, clean floors, all these things, they go a long way.
Okay.
It does, because the goal for you
just cleaning.
You want somebody to walk in there and envision themselves living in that house, not distracted by the little stuff which compounds every room that you walk into.
So these houses, in your eyes, are not sitting that long in Philly.
Not the ones I sell.
Okay, good. So this is what we want to hear, right? I mean, this is now he's you could tell he's getting comfortable because he's starting to come out now, and this is what we want to hear, right?
Some of my listings do sit, but those are the ones that are not realistic and they need help being educated by the actual market, not by our professional opinion or comp reports or anything like that. Some people refuse to hear the music.
Are you telling them then just readjust the price then if it's more than a week or 2 weeks?
I like to set expectations up front, right? So majority of houses in this country will sell within a 30-day period. And day 14 is that trigger point for the spike of when most people will put that offer in. So I say within 14 days, if we don't have at least 10 offers or one written offer, I apologize. At least 10 showings or one written offer.
I was going to say 10 offers.
Yeah.
That's pretty aggressive.
That's in the burbs.
Yeah, that is in the burbs.
At least 10 showings or one written offer, even if it's an insulting offer, your price is the issue. Yeah, so we try to be strategic. It'll either be one big drop or 3 to 5% or $500 to $1,000 every single day, because once you change something on MLS, it will refresh it. So it'll just kind of keep boom, boom, boom at the top of Zillow. And we're strategic. We'll do it right before an open house or before the weekend where most people are doing it, or in the afternoon when we are anticipating people are going to sit down and then be up late at night swiping through their houses like, oh, this one just... Right.
Let's go to a very important question with this guy, right? Because let's just go for the throat here.
Yeah.
if the younger version of you, what advice would you give yourself now? What advice would you give to the young guy who's starting right now, or to yourself knowing what you know now?
Always be creative, always be curious, and you got to have grit. Grit is like the number one identifier of success.
Got to have grit.
Yeah. Perseverance over a long period of time to achieve your goal. Because that's why the dropout rate is so high in this industry. 18 months, about 80% of people just drop out.
Wow. See,
that's an accurate number.
I know that fact, what he just said, that 80% of the people do drop out of the business after 18 months. I don't realize it, but it's true.
A lot.
You see it.
Oh, yeah.
KW is an open door of people coming in and out, I'm sure.
Any brokerages.
Any brokerage, right. Yeah. Just the industry in whole. And you think it's because these realtors get into the business and they think it's easy. And then they see a little bit of work.
A lot of work.
A lot of work.
People
And then
yell
they're
at
out.
you. You'll run around. You'll be there, and then the deal doesn't close, and that whole month was for nothing. And you got to do it again.
Right.
So,
And you got no paycheck.
unless you're
Nothing to
selling,
show.
exactly.
Right.
So, grit is your best friend. And learning about zoning, learning about construction, learning about financing. Like, you don't have to be a financing expert, but being able to speak intelligently about it makes the client feel comfortable.
You know, I asked this question to another agent a few months ago who we had on the show. And how many months of reserves do you think a new agent needs to have in the bank in order to sustain building their business?
6 months. I think that's fair.
So do you think it's going to take a good 6 months to see a first deal?
Depends on how you had to work. I mean, I didn't sell my house until like 9 months in.
So you didn't sell anything until you were 9 months into the business. This is the stuff you guys gotta hear.
I had listings. I had
right, but you
deals
weren't
that were
closing
negotiating, but
any
it didn't
deals
close.
until after 9 months.
I was a assistant manager of a barista, and then I just one day I was like, you know what, I'm going for it.
Right.
I'm going to throw my whole weight into it, and then within that month, we did our first deal.
Wow.
I mean, I did my first deal.
Yeah, I think that's the truth, guys. That's the truth. You're not going to make any real money unless you maybe fall into some of your family.
Year 3 is
Yeah.
when you actually start to recognize a profit. you know?
Right.
And you should, if you're a new agent, you should really run lean. Don't buy all these leads. Don't buy all this marketing stuff. I mean, learn how to attract business for free for your time. Trade your time for the business, but don't trade your finances because you're just gonna go insolvent. So
Now
quick.
you hired a social media manager, right? And
Shout out Melissa.
Yep. Shout out Melissa, right? Which is here and helping us make sure that the show goes clean today and that there's no noises and things like that going on. So thank you to her. You hired her to help you build your brand.
Yeah.
Right? Build your business. And how important is that to hire a social media manager? Do you think that is what propelled you now to another level of success right now? Or are you still in the
awareness? I would say it's another level of awareness.
Okay.
I get a lot of people who reach out to me. They're like, "Oh, we saw your signs in the neighborhood. We saw a bunch of them." That's how I've typically in the past, historically, gotten a lot of business. But now everybody, I mean, Melissa said it great. She's like, people don't Google things anymore. They just go on Instagram and they search for things.
You got to make that investment though.
Yeah.
So tell everybody you got to make the investment. You got to
investment.
spend money to make money.
I've definitely made money from it. It's helped me recruit people for my team.
Well, there you go.
I've signed a few $1 million, like at least $3 million of business just from having that, because people say, "Oh, you look like you know what you're doing. Oh, you're doing this. I have a similar situation." I mean,
You look like you know what you're doing.
But now people
but you
online
do
can see
know
it.
what you're doing.
I do know what I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, never say you
promise.
look like you know what you're doing because people don't like that. I mean, someone's going to comment underneath and say,
I hope they do, because then it'll cause
Who is
engagement,
this
right?
guy? Oh, is he even
There is
real?
a fine line between
Right.
cocky and confident, and I
That's
always like
true.
to remain confident.
I agree. But I think you have to make the investment right now in your business.
Yeah.
I think if you don't make the investment in your business, you'll see it. It hurts to put money out of your own pocket sometimes and hire a social media manager like her or hire a company to do it.
Scared money don't make money.
There you go. Scared money don't make. I agree. I mean, that's a good line.
Yeah.
Right. But some of the, well, you know what? I'm going to get a lot of backlash to people who are going to say, well, I don't have the money to period out.
Then
I
do it
just
yourself.
don't have the money to put out.
Mhm.
I want to do it. I just don't have the money to do it.
Okay, leverage AI. There's so many online softwares right now that allow you to kind of take a long form piece of content and then it just chops it up instantaneously. I mean, you can buy those services for like $100 a year,
You think hiring a social media manager is better than buying leads?
without a doubt. Well, wait. Oh, you threw me off with that one. Say that.
Right. So I wanted to throw you off. That was the whole purpose of it.
This is the first year that I ever bought leads
Okay. So you're buying leads
for the team.
for the team.
Yeah.
Right. So you hand them out to them, right?
Mhm.
And then they call in and say, hey, I want to buy a house, whatever they do.
I hope so.
Right.
Yeah.
Zillow, realtor.com, whatever.
Zillow,
it is.
yeah.
Zillow.
I'm
right.
I'm actually really pleased with Zillow right now. We've been in with them since June and we've closed 4 deals already. I think it's
But do
pretty good.
you think that they should maybe looking to get in a social media manager to drive leads and awareness to their business instead of just calling a cold lead that came through Zillow?
It's a great question. I think all the above. Learning how to cold call is critical in this business. Being comfortably uncomfortable will get you far.
Okay.
Melissa doesn't just do it for me; she does it for the team. So, like, if you're on my team, you have basically
Plus, they all have access. To
they have unsolicited access.
Wow, I got to
when
go on
her
his team
schedule is-
then. I got to go on your team.
We're
All right, 'cause
recruiting. We're actively recruiting.
a lot of loan officers are getting their realtor licenses. And
I
a lot of
see it.
realtors are getting loan officer
Yeah,
licenses.
I see it.
It's back and forth right now because
Yeah.
everybody wants to do They want to make
Just
a
trying to
double
ride that
bubble.
wave.
Right. They want to do a double bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do your deal. I can sell you the house. I
Yeah.
can, do the mortgage for you now. And then I'm even the title guy too.
You better do it right, or else you're going to get a bad rap.
You're going to get crushed.
Yeah.
I'm not putting my name on the line.
No.
I'd rather just stick to doing mortgages, and you rather just stick to doing realtor or selling houses.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't need two stresses combined. I understand what everybody's thinking out there. I should go get my realtor license or go get my loan officer license so that I can get 2 paychecks instead of 1, because I think it's so easy that what the loan officer does, or it's so easy that a realtor just shows somebody a house and then they're done. You never see them again until closing. So it's easy.
I think you're just increasing the variable of you screwing up and then messing up the client's deal.
And you ruin your reputation.
In an instant.
Listen, your reputation is as far as it goes after one deal. If you blow a deal up in this industry, believe me, it'll come back to you. I've been doing it for over 25 years. And, I used to have problems on deals in the past, and I've lost good contacts, people, good realtors like you, that we had a problem in underwriting and the thing exploded and my reputation took a shot. Okay. That comes back to you and it hurts.
It does.
Right. Especially a young guy like you. So you don't do it. Don't put yourself in positions that you don't need by getting your loan officer license. For what reason?
It's a good point too, because a lot of people want to do dual agency. I would say close to 30% of my deals are dual agency.
Yeah.
Because I know how to run it ethically where everybody wins. But if you don't know how to be a dual agent well, you shouldn't do it, because every deal should always evolve into 2 more deals. So if you feel as though that won't happen because you're simply taking it for the check, it's a bad move.
For the money.
One deal is never worth your entire career.
Right.
It's not, unless it's a mega deal where you could retire from, but that's.
And if you're becoming a realtor or a loan officer just to refinance your family or sell your family a house, your family will eventually run out. Right. I mean, you can.
It's okay to have a Rolodex, but
it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, but you can't live off of that. Eventually, you only have so many cousins and brothers and sisters.
The average agent only sells like 3.5 houses a year in this country. So,
is it 3.5?
Yeah, I think it hovers between like,
and the average loan officer, they just did it for this year. It was one of the hardest years in mortgage banking. The average loan officer only sold 1 to 2 deals per month.
God damn.
I know. And believe me,
ramen and bread.
Yes. Peanut butter and crackers. And, it was a rough year.
At least you're lean,
Oh yeah. I mean, you stay lean, right? You run a lot more and, you do what you got to do. All right. So last question for this guy. Goals for the upcoming year of 2025. Where's the Cassell team going? What are you going to double your numbers? You think you triple your numbers? You're expanding, or you think we're just in a level? Well, you told me earlier, you think it's going to be even a harder market that we're going into.
I think in about 2 years, it probably will. I mean, you can't print that much money and expect a thriving economy at the end of the road.
Right.
That's a different conversation.
Right.
But my goal in the next year is to get to at least 8 people on the team. 8 people. I think that's achievable. I do have a big announcement that we're going to be making soon. I can't quite say.
Are you allowed to do it now or no? I mean, you got a lot of people. You could do it now.
It's going to be
a lot of views here. Come on. Big announcement.
I want to build the anticipation.
Is it somebody maybe big that's coming on your team? Something like that? Or kind of? Or no?
Maybe the inverse. I don't know.
Okay.
But
that's good.
We don't know.
We'll see it on Instagram, I'm sure, because you got a social media manager to make sure that it's going to be. So it's big news. You just lit up, dude. I mean, your face is like.
I'm excited inside and out.
All right. So this is good stuff. So that's going to propel you then into 2025.
Yeah.
That's great.
It is great.
Right.
Super pumped.
And then your wife is, of course, going to follow you then into the ranks of.
I might follow her. I don't know. She's a natural born leader. She's an alpha woman, and who knows? Maybe one day she'll lead the team and I'll just be a hustler. I don't know. Grinding.
And then one last question on how not to fail in 2025. As an agent, what should I be doing not to fail?
Put yourself out there.
How do I avoid failing?
I mean, I hear it so often from agents. They say, "Oh, I don't really know what to say to somebody, so I don't know how to do business." To me, that's just they're not having enough conversations, because you gain confidence and knowledge by just talking to people and understanding your sales voice. And when you speak about something, often it becomes you, right? You're forced to learn about that subject. So don't be a recluse, go to a coffee shop.
Personality though, right?
Yeah. I mean,
do you have to have a personality to do this business? Because I'm afraid that I've
met a lot of boring realtors and they still do well. So
I know. That's why I said that. know a lot of boring loan officers that
In
don't speak either.
2016, there was an article written by the agent who sold the most houses in the country. It was this older guy. He sold $2.2 billion in real estate. He basically represented major builders across the country.
Okay.
It was a relatively short article, which I thought was weird for such a robust thing. But he said you have to make the process easy and they have to like you. So it's simple, right?
Right.
Make the process easy for people, get them to like you, which means lower their trust barrier quickly. People want to do business with people who they trust. So
and people that they like. I think you hit that.
You naturally like somebody if
one.
you trust them.
Right. If they don't like you, they're not going to trust you with the biggest purchase of their life.
Yeah. It's not a popularity contest, but it's
not. But I mean, they got to like you. If you're a boring guy who has no personality and just walks in and doesn't speak, and then you just want to text them, or you want them to trust you with buying a $500,000 house, that's a problem.
You got to be a chameleon. I'm not saying don't be authentic, but you got to be a chameleon. Like if you have an A-type personality, you got to match that.
Yeah.
If you have a slower person, you can't be A-type with that slow person. So chameleon, you have to just kind of be that person that you're trying to work with in a sense.
Let's get through the election is what I'm telling everybody right now. Right. I think right now it's just crazy. Let's get through the election, get into the holiday season and start fresh in January. But I think you're going to be the kind of guy that's grinding in December still, right? Do you grind during the holiday season, or are you kind of guy that's going to sit back and say, oh, let's just wait till January?
That's where a lot of people fall flat on their face. The fourth quarter is the most important quarter of the year to set up your Q1, Q2. If you look at the numbers, your main business is done in Q2 and Q3.
Okay.
But you've set that up from the year prior. Most agents right now will go to sleep and wake up Valentine's Day. They're like, oh my God, where's my business? Well, you weren't working.
That is a good, Valentine's Day, you're right. Anything after, I always say after the Super Bowl, the first week of February, then everybody says, oh, we got to go back to work. Yeah. So
this is a tough business. There's a great quote, the impediment to action advances action. What's in the way becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius said that. And I think that's a true statement to working in an industry that will constantly throw you loops and hardships, but using your grit, push through, it really makes.
And this job, let me tell you something, guys. This job is a lot better of a job than if you're in 0-degree weather working outside and having to pave a street. We're doing it.
I grew up in construction. I totally agree with that.
So you know.
I swung that hammer for a long time. So I get it.
So this could be rough, but that's rougher.
Mental versus physical.
Yeah. Right. So
everything's subjective.
I think we're good, right? Tabernet Talks, we're out for another episode. This guy was awesome.
You're awesome.
He's extremely professional.
Thanks, man.
Now I know why he's good. And he's got a good manager over there too. So, if you want her name, we'll put it in the show at the end.
She's spoken for.
She spoke. I'm sure she's always taking on more business. You never know.
I'm a loyal guy, and I appreciate the loyalty that she reciprocates because people come up to her all the time. Oh, can I hire you? Sorry, I have my select clients. So
you should be that way. You should be that way. You just don't take on anybody. Right. So thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah, it's great.
I thought it was awesome. We air this on Wednesday at 9 a.m.
Cool.
It'll be on YouTube, Apple, and the whole everywhere you can look.
Oh, this is like a true podcast.
Oh yeah,
all right,
you're going to be everywhere. So
okay.
You'll be blasted out. The clips will come out Tuesday. We'll probably send you the clips. You guys want to use them yourself?
Send it to her.
Yep, I'll send them to you. And let's keep rolling, right? And then I'll have you back probably in the next 6 months to a year to see how you're holding up. And if you lied to us and said that you did what you did or you did, and the big announcement we'll want to know too, right?
That's coming like next month.
Okay, so we'll see you on Greg. Right, I'm sure. See you guys soon. Thank you.
Thank you.